What was the biggest crush you had? I've had a few crushes in my teens, but right now at 28 I'm crushing pretty hard on this new girl at the office. She's gorgeous and kind and sweet and funny and outgoing and always has time to talk to me. Her smile lights up the room, and when she laughs at one of my jokes I feel lighter than air. Even if she wasn't way out of my league, which she is. She has a boyfriend who she loves very much, and I'm a big believer in love, so I'd never get in the way of it. Sometimes it hurts, but I'm mostly just happy to have her as a friend, and I'm happy that she's in a loving relationship. I'm in the midst of one right now. I haven't had a full-on crush since 5th grade. It's oddly thrilling and disturbing as an adult. The maddening omnipresence of his smile in my head is no different than life as a preteen. I had a crush on a girl for 2 years from when I was 11-12 and never acted on it because I was a kid. It was a very strange 2 years. I haven't had a crush in over 6 years, and that crush was easily the strongest. I remember it literally hurting because I liked her that much. Kid me was weird. In high school I had a crush on 2 girls who were best friends. I spent basically 4 years, plus an additional year of university with the one girl. On the one hand it made finding excuses to talk with them really easy because they were almost always together and in all my classes. So it was never weird approaching them. But it was also super intimidating to try and flirt with either of them. I definitely didn't have the confidence to try and take things further. It also led to one of my cringiest memories. When one of the girls was in a really nasty accident. I went to visit her in the hospital, and instead of it being a caring gesture it was really uncomfortable for me, since her entire family was there. Like, we were decent friends, so it wasn't unexpected, but it was still awkward. Oh man. This question breaks my heart. My biggest crush was a close family friend all through junior high and high school. He was a golden child, good looking, charismatic, very intelligent, ended up getting a doctorate, and good person to boot. He was way out of my social circle and never interested in me, but he was always kind and considerate when others weren't. Our families were out at the lake once, and I got stuck on a raft far enough away from shore I didn't think I could make it back in, as I was a weak swimmer and was nearly in tears. He swam back with me, encouraging me all the way and helping me find the shallows where I could wade back. He died of brain cancer when we were in our 30s. It just kills me to think about it. Does a crush entirely made up of memories of the past count? In 3rd grade, I had a crush on a girl in my class. We had a great time playing soccer at recess every day. We even held hands once. Then after that year I moved away, but I never forgot, and the crush probably grew even bigger over the years. Long story short, I found her on Facebook and sent her a message. She did not remember me at all, even remembered the class and the school, but not me. So yeah, there was that. All the crushes I had when I was a kid. If a boy I liked gave me some random object, egg, dime, newspaper, I'd treasure that object for weeks. I put the newspaper in my pillow and slept with it every night. I'd also try to log into my crush's email accounts with the password I love less than me nama more than. Was always disappointed. I'm crushing pretty hard right now. I'm 31 and IT at a medical school. She is a 24-year-old dental student. When she smiles her eyes turn into little moons. Her eyes sparkle. I don't know if they naturally sparkle for everybody or only towards me. God, I hope. But they sparkle. I bought a tooth plushie for her for Christmas with a cheese-ass note that says something like "You're the reason smiles are merry and white." It's so cheesy I don't even want to read it again. I never gave it to her and it still sits on my desk right here. It is my trophy of shame. A reminder to not be a fool. I don't need to be harassing and distracting hard-working students. It was part jealousy, part infatuation. I was crushing hard on this guy that joined our class junior year. In a year he was one of the most popular guys in the class. Played rugby, football, basketball. Replaced me as the head percussionist in band. Got the lead role in the drama I auditioned for. Was funny, and just an all-around nice guy. Just seemed to be able to do it all so easily. It also didn't help that I'm a guy. And we were living in an incredibly conservative Christian school in the middle of Kenya where homosexuality is still a big no-no. In 7th or 8th grade I really liked this girl. Let's call her Sarah. I liked Sarah so much that I wrote her a note to put in her locker. Something along the lines of "You're really cute. And I really like you. We should hang out sometime." Problem was, I went to her locker and she was there. Oh no. So, I shyly handed her the note and ran off, to be mercilessly destroyed by my friends who witnessed it happen. LMAO. My awkward preteen ass proceeded to never acknowledge it after. Sarah and I went on to different schools and fell out of touch. Fast forward several years. I had to be about 19. We reconnected on Facebook. Nice casual conversation. She had a kid by now. She mentioned that she had the note I wrote her still. Except I became instantly paralyzed by the awkward memory and totally ignored it, and we didn't really talk too much after that. Oh god. I'm going on 25 next month. I just got out of a really bad relationship not that long ago. And who do I happen to start talking to? Sarah. We hung out last Friday and ducking hit. IT. Off. We have so much in common and we talked till about 6 AM after drinking and getting stoned. So many tangents during conversation that I don't think we finished a single topic. Her daughter's 7 and ducking precious and they're cat lovers like me. From what I can tell, Sarah and I are both completely enamored by each other. We're seeing each other again Saturday and this has to be the longest work week of my life. But tomorrow is Friday. Girl I met 7 years ago. Still have a crush but nothing's ever gonna happen and I've accepted it but still sad. This girl named Megan. It was a double-edged sword. Because she helped me improve myself. I lost a bunch of weight thinking I would be more attractive that way. I did everything I could to be around her. Tried to make friends with her 2 best friends. She was way outside my friend circle. One night when I called her, she put her dad on the phone. And he told me to leave her alone. It basically destroyed my confidence in pursuing women. I gained the weight back. I'm now neckbird. The receptionist at work. She is cute and funny. We had great banter every day. I finally got the bottle to tell her how I feel and she felt the same. That was honestly last week. Not sure what will happen but so far so good. My 8th grade English teacher. Raging teenage hormones and a hot teacher made for a very tough school year. In 6th grade, I had a crush so strong it physically hurt on Sashameru from Inuyasha. My crush scale still functions with him as a 10. I had a crush on a boy for 5 years. When I was 11 to 16. We were classmates for a long time but he never really cared about me. I was a boy too and he was straight. But long story short, I let him know when I was 15 and he was completely chill about it and never told anyone. And we still play games together from time to time. When I first saw my wife, I knew I wanted to spend my life with her. I asked her 3 times to marry me, and finally she said yes. We were married a year and 3 months after we met. Whenever I was away from her, it was impossible to think about anything except how much I missed her. I still struggle. We were married for 15 years and we have been divorced for 10 years now. Secondary school for 3 years. I was incredibly shy back then unfortunately. She knew I crushed on her but never reciprocated those feelings no matter how hard I tried. That one wasn't meant to work out. But there are always other chances in the future. I had a massive crush on my teacher when I was 13-14. Thinking back I feel kinda creepy about it. I used to just sit and look at him during class. Those days that I had his classes I'd put extra effort into my clothes and makeup. I didn't like weekends because I couldn't see him. I would always hope that I'd bump into him when I was out in town with my friends. Female friend back in elementary school. Really close. Best friends. All that stuff. Madly in love with her but I was too much of wuss to ask her out. She moved away the last year of elementary school. Never talked since. Did some digging last week. Found out she died 2 years ago. I'm sorry Brianna. Rest in peace. Thanks for all those years of friendship. I would say there's 2. The first girl I had a crush on in high school because I'd never really talked extensively to a girl before. Which I managed duck up really bad. Talked to her recently and there are no hard feelings. The most recent one is the best girl on the planet and one of my best friends. But she's seeing someone and I'm just not good enough for her. Definitely the last girl I dated in college. She wasn't even my type. I went a whole semester barely noticing her. But the moment she actually talked to me, everything changed. I fell for her harder and faster than I've ever fell for anyone before or since. It was profoundly powerful. And I still feel it over 3 years after having last seen her. We saw each other a bit and hooked up once, but it wasn't enough. I needed her in my life as a permanent resident. I needed her attached to my hip. I could spend 6 hours just talking to her and the time would pass like drinking water on a hot day, just draining uselessly away with no satisfaction. It felt like only a lifetime would cure me. Oh well, at least I got to raw dog her. Oh grave a circumflex a diaresis. My fiance. We were friends with all the same people in college but had never met each other. One day, I had all our mutual friends except one in my bedroom hanging out when someone got a text from the last mutual friend asking to come by. When he arrived, he waltzed into the bedroom with some random stranger on his tail. Everyone freaked out and got all excited to see him. He and I locked eyes and it was absolutely electric. I introduced myself and he proceeded to try to be the funniest guy in the room. I found him hilarious and cute and just amazing. He started coming to all the events I'd be at just to talk to me. I started spending every waking moment with him. I liked him so much it hurt to leave when we went our separate ways. The sexual tension was crazy. 2. We tried not to do anything lovey-dovey or touchy. Then the levee broke and it all happened in one night. Been together ever since. I had a crush for all of middle school, 3 years, on one of the most popular guys in my school. It was terrible. I remember being so paranoid someone would find out and bully me for thinking I could ever be with him. Once we got to high school, I finally had him in the class. We had never spoken before, cringe, and I realized he was a massive D. Now I look back and actually physically seize with cringe when I think about how I thought that one day he would sweep me off my feet. He would confess he was nervous to tell me cause I was so cool, I was not, and that we would be in love forever. I was so delusional. Had a crush on my co-worker for years. We were both in serious relationships so I did nothing, no flirting or anything. Never spoke about anything deep or personal. Just annoying clients and good movies we've seen. My relationship crumbled and finally one day I broke down and told him about it. Turns out his had recently ended as well. So he was able to help me through my breakup. Also turns out he had just as huge a crush on me. 2. We're getting married this year. I had a crush on a girl in primary school, around 8 years old, right up until after high school. Never acted on it because she was so completely out of my league. There is an European journalist I saw once in a piece of news and I've been kinda stalking his Instagram ever since. She was 15. I was 16. Oh sweet Jesus, how I fell for her. That was 51 years ago. We'll celebrate our 49th anniversary this year. Gavin Rossdale. The year he was on the cover of Rolling Stone. I had that cover taped to my wall for my entire high school career. Glycerine. I had a huge crush on this boy in high school. He had the most oddly natural dark red hair and was a massive loner from what I could tell. I never spoke to him because I was a chickenit even though my high school self was actually not terrible looking. He had a major glow up after high school and I like to credit myself for being able to recognize a diamond in the rough. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I had a crush on high school for years. She was nice but she was out of my league and even if I did manage to date her, she would have found me boring due to my personality. On the last day of school I emailed her my feelings but I told her that I hope she has a good life and wishes her the best of luck. I haven't seen her since. I just wanted to take that weight off me. My current boyfriend. We've been together for nearly 7 years and I still have a big stinking crush on him. I knew it was for real when the thought of losing him actually physically hurt. I never felt that way about another human in my life before him. When I was in the final year of Belgian primary school, I was 11/12 at the time. I had very few friends. All of them were girls. One of them in particular was always with me. I didn't have a crush on her. Literally everybody in the entire school thought we were a couple, and because of it, I started to actually love her. In March of 2015, she told me she would move to the Netherlands and would go to a different school than me in September. My heart was broken. After that, every time I had the chance to tell her that I loved her, I was too scared to say it. At the final day of primary school, the last day of June, I started crying like a baby because I knew I would miss her and told her that I loved her. Turned out she felt the same about me. I haven't seen her after that and haven't texted her in 3.5 years, not counting happy birthday or New Year messages. It's now 4 years later and I still feel something for her. But I am kinda scared to text her again and don't know what I would have to tell her. I hope that I will ever find the courage to text her again and I really want to see her again. Robert E. Capital O. Speedwagon. I'm not sorry. His name was Austin. He sat next to me in 6th grade homeroom and I fell in love instantly. After several failed attempts at flirting, I accepted my fate. Thankfully, came with his friendship. My crush lasted from 6th grade until we graduated high school. He dated my friend and never used my crush against me. You always hear about the friend zone and how bad it is, but sometimes the best cure for a crush is to be their friend instead. We lost touch after high school, but I see him from social media from time to time and he seems happy as duck. Sophomore year, I ended up crushing hard on a girl for like a year. I fell for her fast and hard, and I didn't get fully over her until I started dating my first girlfriend. Although looking back it's all on me. She always dropped hints that she wasn't into me like that and always left me on read. But we sort of became friends senior year because we were in the same homeroom, so it all worked out. The only crush I've had was in the elementary school. First time I met her was in the 7th grade. During a monthly day school trip, we talked. She found me on a then popular local social network. We talked. We became friends. At the start of the 8th grade, we coincidentally ended up going out together with a larger group of people, and after that I suggested that just the two of us could go out. We did. Several times. During this time she started telling me about wanting to kill herself, which I never took very seriously, though I never told her that. Then she tried to overdose on some pills, but failed. Months later she told me about it again, but this time I contacted another friend of hers who could contact her family. During the summer break, we didn't see each other or were really in contact since she spent half of it in a mental institution because of the attempt, and the other half in the UK with her family. This was before mobile internet was widely available. Then one day in the 9th grade, she ended up being hospitalized because of excessive vomiting. A few days later she was diagnosed with cancer and she died during the following summer break.